Hey guys, this is Toby Morrison here, and on the other end of the camera lens, this is Siggy from Norway. Hello.
Hi there.
Thank you so much for joining. I'm actually so excited for this interview, because the person that I'm talking to today, I once spoke to almost over a year ago now. And
Yep.
you are a transformed lady, and I'm so blessed to be able to do this interview because I selfishly get something from this, because some of the lessons that you have learnt on your journey have just been incredible. And I reached out to you you reached out to me about 3 months ago and said, Toby, I'm doing so well now. I'm going from strength to strength. And then I said to you, send me an email and let me know how you're going.
Yep.
And so what happened was, obviously you joined the program almost a year ago. You were struggling. Was it chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia? You're going through chronic pain. Yeah. So you were struggling with both illnesses, and and then all of a sudden, you send me this email, and it was long.
It was really long.
And normally I kind of skim through those kind of emails because I get so many of them. But I really made a conscious decision to sit down over lunch and I read through it really slowly, and and it touched me. The changes that you made were incredible, and how you wrote was just so beautiful. And so I said to you, you know what? I think it's time for you to write an article. And you wrote an article, and we posted on the page, and it's got something like 5,200 likes.
Yeah.
And that's right now. It'll probably be a lot more, after this interview. And then I said to you, I think it's time for an interview, because there's a lot of people out there who are just really, really related to your story, but also really inspired. And we're going to talk a little bit about your backstory, where you're at, the nitty gritty of how bad it was for you. But then we're going to talk about all the amazing learning lessons, and I'm even that excited that I literally went next door. I don't even own a printer. I went next door to my next door neighbour to print off some of your key notes that you wrote in your post, because they are so valuable. And we're going to go over these for everybody. And so if you're joining us on this interview, I would love you to get a pen and paper to write some of this wisdom down that Siggy has gone through and learnt, and is now sharing for all of us to benefit from. And I'm just really, really grateful for you to join us today, Siggy. Thank you.
Yep. I'm really happy too, and I'm really glad that it seems like the article has both touched and inspired quite a lot of people all over the world, which is why I wrote it. Not to promote myself, but to try to help others and realize that there is hope, actually.
Yeah, totally. Now, there wasn't the story almost over a year ago. Let's go back just to that time. I remember the phone conversation. I actually really do.
Yeah, I do.
Look the way you look now. Right now, you're 30 kilos lighter. Is that right? Than before
a bit over 30 kilos. Yeah.
30 kilos lighter. So that's just incredible. So you lost all that weight, and you didn't come into the program to lose weight. You came to get better and healthier.
Yeah.
And getting better was a byproduct. Losing weight was a byproduct of getting healthier.
Yeah.
Right?
And I remember we talked about it, and you said, don't worry about it, because the weight will come off anyway when you get better. So don't think about it.
I did too. I remember that too. Because the thing is, if you focus too much on losing weight, you're actually not focused on the right things. You're focusing on,
how you look to the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. I do remember that. And oh my God, we've got so much to talk about. We're going to try and jam it all in for everybody. Otherwise, we'll end up talking for 4 hours.
Yep.
So let's go back to that phone conversation. Tell me where you were at in that moment of, when you reached out for us for help, and where were you at? Paint a picture for everyone listening.
Well, I've been sick for a year and a half. I had just prior to that, 4 or 5 months prior to that, I had moved to a new place north of the polar circle. Really beautiful place, but in the middle of the winter I moved, so it was dark when I got up, and it was dark when I went to bed. And I moved away from everyone and everything I knew to take a new job that I felt that I had to take for financial reasons. And depression hit me just like a hard rock one day on my way to work, because I was in total denial of how I felt and what I really wanted. I was just doing what I felt I had to do and what was expected of me. And when we talked, I had been sick for about a year and a half, and I tried all sorts of things. I've tried, I've taken every blood test there is to take. I had tried to exercise. I had been with physiotherapists. I had been in therapy, but nothing seemed to really help me. So I felt that I hadn't come anywhere. Actually, I felt I had become worse.
Getting to try to get, and help, and you're just not getting anywhere.
Year and a half, and I was getting worse. So my depression was getting worse and worse because I didn't see the hope. I didn't see any hope until I found your videos.
And how did you stumble across it? Was it on YouTube or Facebook?
On YouTube. Yeah.
And what did you do? Did you reach out straight away, or did you watch a few videos and were like, oh yeah, like this makes sense?
No, I watched a lot of videos because for me, it's really important to work with people that I feel I can trust. And there are so many people out there selling snake oil. And people with chronic fatigue and any chronic illness really are easy targets for people who are looking to make easy money. So it was important to me that I could trust you and trust the program. And watching your videos, that wasn't that hard, Toby.
You saw through the illusion and realized that, oh, he actually gets it and understands and cares.
Yeah. Awesome. That was quite that's very obvious of watching your videos, that you care and that you know what it is. And like with anything, you can't imagine what it's like to go through an experience, no matter what it is, if it's having babies or having cancer or having CFS. If you haven't been there, you can say all you want about it, but you don't really know until you've been there.
100%. What was it like for you at that stage? I remember you were scared, but you were determined. But describe the feelings that you were feeling in that moment when a year and a half ago, you're 30 kilos heavier or more. You're so unhealthy. You're stuck in that hole of depression and worry, and also just feeling utterly, unwell. Tell me what was going on for you at that time?
Emotionally?
Yeah.
It was a really strange mix of determination to get better and hopelessness. Somewhere I really, really wanted to get well. I really, really wanted to get my life back. I wanted to get back to the life that I had, which was, I realized, underway a total illusion that isn't a good one. It's not what I want now. And total despair that, maybe I'll never get better. What if this is my life? And through the program, I realized, well, okay, if this is my life, then, well, I have a choice to make the best of it or sit in misery. So what if it is my life? And that's when things started getting better, actually.
Yeah, the acceptance of, what, even if I don't get better, I'm going to do everything I can do to help myself.
Yeah, even if it's a shitty day, you can choose to dance in the rain or to moan about it. And we were just talking about it before we started the interview. It's snowing, first snow now where I live. And it's really serene and peaceful and beautiful to watch. Unless you decide to be pissed off because it's going to be harder to drive today.
Of course. But that's a choice too, right?
Yes, everything is.
But you go.
Yeah, for me, it started with the tiniest, silliest thing, doing the dishes. I was living on my own. I didn't have a dishwasher, and I hated doing the dishes. And that was where I started, actually. That was my first decision. I can decide that this is something that I'm doing for me to have a clean kitchen, or I can moan about it while I do it, and you know, think it's crap for 2 days before I do it. And that was the start for me actually doing the dishes.
Well, you know, there was actually I saw a video that went viral on Facebook recently, and there was a military guy talking about the key to success, and everyone was thinking he was going to do a long speech, and everyone was thinking like he's going to do something really special, and he goes, "The key to success is making your bed every morning."
Yep.
Because when you make your bed, even if you've had a hard day, you know you come back to a bed that's already made that you can get into and start the day again tomorrow.
Yep, I saw that one as well, and I took it to heart.
And the same thing, it's like the dishes. It's the same thing. It actually is. Like it's those basic key needs that they stuck, but they're practical and they teach us discipline, but they also give us a good start to the day because you're in a clean slate. You're becoming organized.
Yeah.
And creating structure.
And for me, it was really good practice in turning my view of things around, you know, because it isn't what happens. It is absolutely not about what happens or what you're doing. It's about how you view it. And you can hear it all day long until you try it. You have to try it.
I think that's the thing as well. Like, I feel like there's a certain readiness that comes with that, you know, like, you know, and you and I can get real about that because we've both been on both sides. Every human being has. But, you know, like, I used to hate people who used to say that. It's just like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you don't know how
you don't know my life.
Exactly. And you start coming up with all these objections and resentment and like distancing from yourself.
Yeah.
But like, there has to be something that you step over the line with. And I remember being on the phone with you and you were, you know, I think you almost were in tears. I can't exactly remember. We were talking about your family, your kids. How many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids.
Exactly. You got 3 kids.
Yeah.
You know, you single?
Yeah. I've been single for very, very many years.
You know, and so you've got all these things against you, stacked up against you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you said to me, Toby, I'm not going to give up, and you know I'll do what it takes. And I said, you know, I know you'll do what it takes. But you don't actually have to try that hard. You just got to do the right things.
Yeah.
And you know, and that was the same thing. And I think we left it on the end of saying, you know what, don't complicate it. Like, let's simplify your life.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and get on with it. And you know, and you're clearly a doer. Like, you're clearly someone who is just proactive. And you know, there was something inside you when you joined that you were, you know, you did it by the book and you were like, that's it, I'm committed. And you know, you not only got help through us, but you got help outside of us as well. I know you mentioned in your article that you were lucky enough to get in with a really good coach or therapist who, you know, you clicked with, and things just related, and you started to equalize everything. And I think a lot of people, I mean, people who are watching get it. Like, people who are watching get it in the sense of it's not all in your head. But let's face it, like, it absolutely robs you emotionally. It robs you physically, which then robs you emotionally. You know,
yep.
Like what?
And the other way around, actually.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So, like, what were some of the crappy symptoms that you experienced like early on?
Well, I was tired all the time. I had depression. I had no physical strength. I had problems just going to the store. So I planned for days before going to the store. I had nobody to go to the store for me or cook for me or anything. So I had to do it. I had aches and pains everywhere. I took painkillers a lot. I had headaches. I had joint pains. I had muscle aches. But the fatigue was the worst, and the brain fog. I had really bad brain fog. I couldn't remember. You know, I was trying to keep a good connection with my kids who were all living somewhere else, and just, you know, the shame of not remember that your kid told you they had something important happening the day after, and I couldn't remember what time it was or what day even, or, you know, I remembered that something was happening, but I couldn't remember what. So I just had to explain to them, you know, it's just a part of the illness. And I haven't realized until recently for how long this has been actually progressing. before, it started turning around, because it's been progressing for probably 10, 15 years.
Going through the illness, you mean, like all these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had fibromyalgia for at least 15 years.
Wow.
Um,
And do you have pain now?
no pain.
What
No pain.
What did you say? I can't hear you. No pain.
No pain.
Man, like, this is why I wanted this interview, just because, like, you're a breath of fresh air. Can I ask how old you are? Just because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be, like, similar to you, going, oh my God, I've got 2 or 3 kids and I'm single too,
I'm 46.
Yeah, there you go. And I think it's just so important. Like, do you know, there is this, like, myth and belief out there that, like, if you're older, you can't get better. Did you know that? Did you see that?
Yeah, and I remember thinking it as well. And it makes an excuse for you. Well, it's too late for me anyway, so why bother getting better?
It's like, and yeah, it might be harder because you've got more responsibility and there's other things going on. But, like, it doesn't matter how hard it is. Like, the fact is that it's possible. Like, the fact, like you're on the screen right now, and it's factual. Yeah, you can't. No one can, like, you can't get around that. Like, you can't, like, oh yeah, no, and, like, of course people are going to have, oh yeah, but she had this and she did this and whatever. But at the end of the day, the fact is that it doesn't matter what age you are, you can improve your life. And like, we're going to go over this. We're going to go over these sheets soon, because, like, some of the stuff that you've written here is just so valuable to, like, anybody, like, not just people with chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, like, to anyone. And I think actually this is actually the prevention for some of the illness.
Yep, I think so too. Yeah.
Because like, with this kind of knowledge that you've gained from recovery, like, it's set you up for a beautiful life.
A whole different path. Yep.
A whole different path, exactly. And it's only getting better for you. So let's talk about, there's so much to talk about. It's just like, I want to go everywhere. So what was it like for you when you started the program? Like, where did you start? Like, what were some of the key things that you focused on in terms of moving you forwards? Because, like, I already know the answers, but I just think for viewers out there, like, there's a lot of people who just think they're doing everything right, but they probably actually aren't. Like, what were some of the key things that really helped you move forwards?
The first thing that I realized, it took me a while to understand how it worked and why it was working, but I had been pushing and crashing. Like you said, I am a doer, so I was trying to do everything right, not realizing that it isn't about that at all. And that was a big aha for me, and to allow myself to rest. And raised traffic lights.
Traffic lights. Yeah. Well, let's just talk about that for a second. The first one, because, like, doing things perfectly and doing things wholeheartedly, and you said it's not about that. And it's funny because it's a pattern in a lot of high achievers. It's a pattern. It's just a pattern. It's a behaviour learned, and people just get stuck in that rut. And it's true. It's a psychological thing that we can change, but it affects us physically, how we feel. We can't switch on. It's like we can't breathe. It's like we need to keep going, and we just, like, nothing happens. We just stuff gets done, but we feel like crap.
Yep, and you never stop to celebrate.
Wow. Yeah. So there you go. Okay. Yeah. So like, let's get into that then. Like, how did you figure that out? How did you just realize? How did you, like, let go of that? Because, like, people are, like, scared to let go of that identity. What was it for you?
It was a long process to really let it go, and I'm still working on it. I think that everybody needs to be reminded of it all the time, that we are not what we do. We are beings, not doings. and it takes a long time. And I think not being so hard on yourself. You say it all the time, but it takes actually. I think it's a lifetime thing. You know, not judging yourself, not judging yourself hard, not pushing yourself further than you're capable of. You know, living in. But I think actually that was one of the big things for me.
Did you have any goals? Like, was there any was there any goals when you started? Like, was there kind of like some things that you were working towards through this whole process?
I knew that I wanted to move back closer to my children, and I had decided anyways that I wasn't going to attempt to do it until I was well, and I wasn't going to focus on I had to do it until I was well or well enough to do it on my own. And I remember we talked about I've had a dream for years, building a tiny house, and that was my carrot, that I wanted to get well enough and strong enough to be able to build my own tiny house. And the funny thing is that now, well, I'm not that interested.
You're not that interested in it?
No.
But
and
you could do it if you wanted to.
What?
You could do it if you wanted to, right?
Yes, I could.
Yeah.
And I don't think it matters at all what your goals are or why you want to do things. You know, hang on to them, even if they're not, you know, attainable right now. Hang on to them. And if you realize otherwise, well, I'm not sure if I actually want that, or why did I want that? Maybe I want something else now. That's fine. You don't have to go through with everything just because you've said so. You know, we are allowed to change our minds.
Yes, exactly. And also, I think, you know, what I want to add to that, and I think you're perfect at this as well, you know, is like have goals, but like don't beat yourself up if you don't do it perfect every day.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like literally, like have an actionable stepping goal towards what you want and where you want to go, and you're more likely to do it with the intention of having that than not having an intention.
Yes.
And you can fall back and forth a few times, but at least if you have that goal up on that board of yours and you can see it and you're like, yeah, that's where I want to go, you're looking up, you're looking towards the future. But if you've got nothing ahead of you, you're kind of stuck in a rut.
Yeah. There's no way of, you know, there's no use in getting out of bed anyway.
Exactly. And that's why, you know, I think that's one of the, would you say that's one of the key components of the program that helps people identify that? You know, like, I feel like that gives a lot of people purpose to actually get out of bed and start.
Yeah. That's very important.
You know, because it's easy to stay. I did a video recently and I was talking about it's almost like you've set up to fail with CFS and fibromyalgia because barely anyone believes in you. The doctors don't really, you know, seem to care. Not many of them anyway. There's not much practical help out there. And so, you know, you're kind of set up to fail and then not only that, then you've got to actually deal with what you're actually dealing with on top of that. Yeah. Like it's a hard thing to go through. It's an absolute slog. So I think if, you know, and Siggy, you can back this up. Like I think anyone who's going for a chronic illness is doing an incredible job regardless of whether you're improving or not right now.
Yeah, and actually if you're dealing with a chronic illness and you manage to get out of bed or even brush your teeth, you're actually on the right path. You're on your way. You know, that's the start. And you can't get anywhere else than where you are. You are where you are, and you have to start there. You know.
Yeah. Awesome. So good. All right. What else? What other kind of key components? I know you changed your nutrition to more of a whole foods diet, which has worked incredible for you, and your gut health is a lot better. You stuck to it. You know, it wasn't an overnight quick, you know, diet change. It was a consistent change. So that's been huge for you.
Yeah, and I look at it as a life change, not as a change in diet. It's a life change.
Totally. And I feel like a lot of people find it hard with making changes. So when you make it, like, how do you stay committed? Like like, what is it that keeps you committed? Is it just the life change? Is it just a thing that you're born with? Like, what for you? How do you stay committed to changing these habits?
Well, a few people have asked me about it because, of course, people that know me see the change. You know, it's a very, very obvious change in how I look.
30 something kilos, yeah?
Yeah, 30. I think it's 32 kilos right now.
Before we go any further, like your weight,
Yeah.
it's not just your complexion. Like you were, like the before photo and the after photo of you, it's just incredible. Like you were like almost grey in that photo.
Yeah.
You know, you were really, really
inside out grey. Yeah.
literally. And now it's like almost, it's like this shedding of just weight, and you know, health has just come through. Yeah. So go on, continue.
What I tell people is that begin with stop drinking anything else than water, maybe coffee or tea, but don't drink any calories. Don't drink sugar in any form, not fruit juice. Just drink water and do that for a week, and then get back to me. And the reason for that is everybody can do that. Maybe it's not that easy at first, but everybody can do it. And when you've done it for a week, you've shown yourself that you can do it. And then try to, give up sugar for a week. And if you stumble and fall, it's fine. Just don't do it next time you open your mouth.
It's pretty simple.
It's as simple as that. When I had gone through, because it isn't easy to start with, but once you're in it and once you've made it your lifestyle, for me it's priceless to look back at those pictures and remember where I came from and why I did it. And now it's nothing I ever think about. I don't want sugar. I don't want bread. There's no value in it,
Yes, exactly. There's no value in it. Literally, calorie-wise, there's no value in it.
No.
Apart from creating more disease and more imbalance in your body.
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. Good points. Now, what else? Like, so you got your nutrition. You got more routine, structure, and planning.
Yeah. I actually, for a couple of months, or 3 months maybe, I wrote down everything I did every day, both what I ate. This is before I changed my diet. This was in the start of the program. I wrote down what I was doing, what I was eating.
The daily planner that you get?
Yeah. And how I was feeling at the end of the day. And this actually helped me a lot, both because of the brain fog, but also because my mindset was so much on doing and doing and doing that I never took the time to look back and see how things were hanging together. How what I was eating was affecting my health the day after, for instance, or how I was sleeping was affecting how I was feeling. So that was really, really, really helpful. And finding my baseline and realizing where it was okay to step one step ahead out into new things, and when I really should just be resting. That was really, really helpful.
What did you do when you rested?
I try to meditate. Not easy. It's an easy thing to say, just meditate, but it's not easy at first. But like with everything that you're doing, you have to be kind to yourself. You have to forgive yourself. You have to know that the Dalai Lama struggles at times as well, and stop comparing yourself to anybody you see. And you can't even compare yourself to where you used to be or where you want to be. You can only compare yourself to, where you are now. There's just no use in comparing with anyone or anything else.
Incredible. Great advice. And I think you've come such a long way. I think a year is quite a short time, to be honest. Really. But and I always say to people, like, change, there's a lot of change that can happen within a year, you know? And so, like, do you feel, because you've done it the right way, and I feel like, you know, you've just done it step by step and little by little, and it's not perfect, but you're kind of getting the pieces of the puzzle together and getting help here and getting help there. Did it feel like, you know, some of the progress was quite small, but like you were still like noticing these wins and you kept building over a period of time?
Yeah. And I'll be completely honest. I don't think that I am 100% recovered, even though I'm pain-free, even though I feel a lot better, even though I have way more energy. I don't think I'm 100% recovered in the sense that I don't have a job now, and I have no idea how I'll deal with having a job. If I can do a full-time job, I don't know that right now. I'll have to find out.
If you want to do a full-time job, that is
yes.
Well, I think you've changed your life. Like, it's not only that, it's like, you know, you're figuring out what's actually important to you, and like, you know, you're really getting clear on what you value in life.
Yep. And actually now before nothing else was good enough than having a full-time job. Now I think, well, if I could keep a 60% job and be happy, that would be just fine, you know?
Yeah, totally. But the fact that you're pain-free, like, you know, to not have pain must be so nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing. And to actually wake up and be rested, amazing. That's amazing. Because I didn't do that for years before.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things you've been doing lately, like tell people what you've been up to. Like, you've been traveling around in your car. You were driving, I think it was like 6 hours in the car driving a day. For a lot of people, that's, you got to understand, like, I get like your reality that you're not working and stuff like that, but to drive 6 hours in a car and be completely fine, and, you know,
and go for a walk afterwards.
Yeah, like, hello, like, that's pretty damn normal. Like, you're above normal. Like, the people who are healthy go for 6 hours driving, they're like, oh my God, I need 10 coffees to stay awake.
Yeah. Well, I moved, what is it now, 3 months ago. Just about 3 months ago, I started moving. I sold and gave away almost everything I owned. So I downsized my life to fit in a tiny car. And a tiny car, I mean a tiny car, actually. And I drove 1,500 kilometers from where I lived in north of the Polar Circle to where I live now. And I just decided to take it as a holiday or a trip, you know. Don't push it. Drive as far as you're comfortable with. Stop where you want to. Take a walk, you know, eat well all the way. And I met some really amazing people along the way who were both students and disciples. And when I got here, I was going to move into an eco-village. I was going to rent a room with a lady in an eco-village, and that didn't work out, which before I got really ill, I would have gotten pissed off. I would have thought of it as a failure. I would have blamed her probably, but I didn't. I figured out a solution. I now live with a flatmate in a nice little flat, very, very close to my children. And what before would have been disappointment wasn't at all. And it surprised me because I was expecting to crash afterwards, both after the long drive and after the disappointment of not getting the place that I wanted to live. But it took me 2 months to realize that you are not going to crash. You know, you're fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
And everything worked out as it was supposed to.
The old fear and worry that you know, once was appropriate is no longer appropriate for you because you've come so far. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're still progressing. You know, the fact that you're still getting healthier, you're still losing more weight, like, you know, and you're doing, but your health is maintaining. You're not detrimenting yourself, and 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 sorry, what were you going to say? You're going to add something there?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, and for me, you are a huge success because you are fully you, and you are whole. And so it's taken you a lot of work to get there, but I just think it's so undervalued, and you're in my eyes, you are a fully healthy, functioning human being, with endless potential and possibilities. And what is even more inspiring is from where you came from. You know what I mean? Even if you improved 5 or 10%, that would have been a success. But the fact that you've gone from down there to up here, it's just it's incredible. Now, I want to talk about all these amazing things. So, for anyone who didn't see, Siggy wrote an article about her recovery. You can search it down on our Facebook page at CFS Health and should find a before and after photo with an amazing story. But down the bottom, you wrote, some of the things that you learnt along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's quite a long list, so I don't know if we'll be able to go over all of them, but I want to touch on a couple. And a lot of this stuff's emotional well-being stuff, but I think it's really, really vital. Yeah. And I think it's what people talk about the most. And I think if you can get this right, I think everything else works out for itself, And obviously, this is just a disclaimer, you still have to do the physical stuff to look after yourself. You still have to do what Siggy's done: nutrition, restorative movement, baseline, water, sleep, all those kinds of things, getting your health and lifestyle right. But, this stuff's really valuable too. This is what I'm talking about. So this is a great one. The first one you wrote, these are some of the lessons that I learned along the way. I thought I'd share them with you. To take a step outside of myself and my situation and assess it from outside instead of judging everything I wish I had done or been. What has that done for you?
Well, it's made me realize that I have actually judged myself way harder than I judge anybody else.
Yeah.
And way harder than anybody judges me. And it's helped me be kinder to myself.
Amazing. And when you're doing that, you just start to do things that are right for you.
Yes.
We've also got here that my feelings are completely legitimate and worthy, and in and of themselves, regardless of how other people react to them. Man, That's wrong. That's about boundaries, isn't it?
Yep. Very much so. And it's about allowing yourself to have your feelings and emotions and own them. Regardless of how anybody reacts to them. It's fine to be angry. It's fine to be angry. And you don't have to be angry and scared of how anybody reacts. Or you can be happy and, don't care if anybody laughs at you at the store.
Like me yesterday dancing on the beach by myself.
Exactly.
This is cool. Things happen in life and life goes up and down, up again. It isn't a defeat or a sign of weakness to have a bad day or bad days. And, I think that that wisdom there kind of shines a light on not giving up on the shitty days and maybe not making the bad days worse than they actually are. True?
Exactly. Yep, exactly. And to realize that, we are so focused on ourselves when we are sick that we forget that life is actually like that. It is ups and downs. And so what if you have a crappy day? Everybody has a crappy day, actually. So don't be harder on yourself because you're sick.
Oh, I think we might have lost Siggy. Hopefully she comes back on in a second. Unbelievable interview. This lady she's just done so much. She's been so inspirational, and her story is just incredible. She's just got so much wisdom. So hey, if you're enjoying this interview, leave a comment. Let us know what you like about Siggy. She will read over them, I'm sure, in the future. And maybe write down one thing you've learnt about this interview so far. Make some notes. But these are just incredible. these things here, these notes. So we'll keep going over them. Just give me one sec. So while Siggy's hopefully coming back on, I'm just going to read out a few of these things that ultimately, she's learned along the way and has really helped her. And hopefully she comes back on. Her phone her phone battery may have died. So she's written here, I don't need anyone to come and save me, but I can ask for help when I need it. People that care about me want to be there for me, but I need to allow them to do that and say yes, please, when they offer their assistance. How important is that to actually ask for help when you need it, and just say yes and just allow them to come in? It doesn't have to be on your own all the time. I have many valuable and good qualities. Strong feelings and emotions are not dangerous, whether they are positive or negative. They are just feelings. Again, really key point. I don't need to criticize anyone, explain or justify my opinions or feelings. All this stuff that she's writing here, it's all stuff that saves energy. It saves energy exhaustion. And I just think it's awesome. The past only has the control over me to the degree I have given it. It is my choice. Depression directly correlates to regretting and blaming the past and others for my situation now. Anxiety correlates with fear for failure. It has to be okay to see things unfold gradually. I am braver and tougher than most people I know. All these things that she's written to herself in a way are actually just inspiring. So, yeah, it's just incredible. It's just incredible the fact that she's writing all this for you guys to get, So let's see. Link. Now, one of the other couple, I'm trying to get Siggy back on. She said she's back on. So one of the other things here is uncertainty can mean options, that anything is possible. I love that one because, I think we all go through uncertain times, and it's like, okay, cool. We can, if we're going through uncertain times, obviously it means that we've got options. Oh, here she is.
I was here the whole time. I heard and saw you the whole time, so I don't know what happened.
See, uncertainty means options.
Yes.
You came back. So I'm just going through all these things. I'm constantly learning to put myself first in my own life. That's a big one.
Yep.
That's
a big one.
Yeah. That should almost be at the top of the list. I feel like a lot of people just don't get that. Let's talk about that.
Well, when you're used to thinking that you have to offer your own good for other people, like your children, like your parents, like your friends, like your employer, you've set yourself aside. And it's been said over and over again, all over, for probably thousands of years. If you don't take care of yourself, you have nothing to give. But ultimately, it's about not loving yourself enough to actually put yourself first and replenish and take care of yourself, and really, really understanding that. And it's also about worrying so much about what everybody else is thinking about you and how they're judging you, that you put that in front of you instead of what you really want and what you really need.
When you get to that place, you become a lot more direction focused.
Yeah.
And I speak from my own life. Like, I feel like I'm really focused at the moment. Like, I have a really clear direction, and if things come my way, which they do every single day, I get messages, I get people, asking for things, and don't do this, or ask me these questions, or emails, or life stuff happens. But I have this clear focus of putting myself first in a healthy way.
Yep.
And now that I've done that, it's just like all this shit just melts away. It's like there's nothing, like, I'm going to do me. I'm going to help as many people as I can, but I'm going to do it in a way that's actually beneficial for myself,
Yep.
for my soul, for how I feel. And it just changes everything, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't do you, nobody's going to do you. And, if you thought you were born into a world where it doesn't matter if you're you or not, you miss something. I think we're all really valuable, and it's valuable that we're all different. And if you think that you're not good enough, well, think again. You are the way you are for a reason, and you are in this world for a reason.
This is what you said at the end of this, which is what I really loved. You said, so if you've been wondering, if there is any hope for you, I bet there is. Do you think your life is too crappy to ever be able to get back to where you were? You're probably right if that's what you believe. But is that what you really want?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think your life is working against you and you don't have support? It is your life, and there are lots of good people and support to find. So don't give up. Just because you haven't seen it yet doesn't mean it is not there. No one in Europe knew America existed until someone discovered it, then showed the way. But it was still there all along. You can do it with the right support and attitude.
Yep. Who wrote that? Vice person.
I know, how good is it? It's like your best self. It's like this higher person came over you and you've just written serious wisdom there.
Yeah.
I feel like we've really covered the most important stuff. I mean, for anyone who wants to read the entire article, you can just find it on the CFS Health page or over on the website, cfshealth.com. We'll put it up there too. But there's just, I'm just going to quickly read off just a couple more that you wrote. I've become better at saying no and setting boundaries for myself and others. I no longer need to engage so much in other people's dramas and problems. Yes, that's just so important. I was just saying to everyone when you were away, and you probably heard me say this, all this stuff is energy saving stuff. And it's just so important that, it's just absolutely vital to go over this stuff and do this stuff. Just let go of it and you'll feel better. I have found much greater inner peace. I feel I'm standing on a solid ground in myself in my own life. So, and this is what Siggy says, so where to now? I really have no idea, and that is completely fine. It's actually very interesting and exciting, and I'm looking forward to a journey that I can feel is going to be really, really good. I am now enjoying a lot of playfulness and fun with all sorts of people and circumstances, and for now, that is enough. And yes, it's very satisfying. My days are spent with good people, doing enjoyable things in a tempo that is right for me. I'm creating again, painting, knitting, doing some interior makeovers, and taking care of myself. I eat well, I exercise, I have wonderful relationships with old and new family and friends. So, it's just a beautiful, beautiful story. I hope you guys get a lot out of it. It's just so nice, so good to have someone who is a little bit older, in their 40s, who has had a tough life. Single, 3 kids, and has created change. You know, here she is again. She's back. Hey,
Surprise!
you know, yeah, it is just awesome. Okay, so now what I want to do, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to finish off with. I want to ask you this. Knowing what you know now, what would you say to yourself at your worst? What would you say to yourself, knowing what you know now?
Everything I wrote down.
One sentence.
In one sentence, if you keep heading where you were going, you're going to get where you are now.
Whoa, wow. Futuristic thinking, that one.
Did you get it? Was it too heavy?
It took me a while, but yeah, you're talking about your future self. You're gonna, when you get now, which is here.
Yeah, but you know, in essence, you know, if you keep striving for the things you used to be striving for, you're gonna end up sick. You're going to end up exactly as sick as you're right now. I would tell my sick self.
100%.
You know,
yeah.
Keep trying to do what you were trying to do, and you'll keep being as sick as you are. You have to change pace. You have to change direction if you ever want to get better.
You have to change you as a human being.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Next question. Where would you be without the program, in all honesty? Like, where do you... I think with your determination, you would have got there anyway, but I think it would have... Yeah. Where would you be... I'm sorry, I shouldn't answer that question for you, but yeah, where would you be without the program?
Well, it's a movie title, I can tell you. Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. I don't think I would be where I am now.
That's actually quite true. Like,
yeah. I don't think I think I would have kept pushing and crashing and pushing and crashing. That was the only thing I knew how to do. So I think I would have kept doing it if I hadn't learned another way.
And if you could describe for you in 3 words what the program has given you, what would those 3 words be?
A new life.
That is the best answer we've had so far. Well done, I'll give you that. That's awesome. Yeah, it's true. You are a new person. I mean, I was blown away when I jumped on the Skype with you tonight. I've been blown away by the photos that you emailed me. You know, looking 30 kilos lighter, happy. For me, it's not even about the weight. I mean, it's a fantastic benefit that you're healthier now. But like for me, you can tell by your face.
Yeah.
The shine and the happiness and the joy and the contentness within you. And also just the expression of yourself. I think that's a really key component of knowing, of feeling aligned when you express yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we all need that. I think we all need to have more self-expression, as scary as that is.
Yeah, and being who you are is just fine. You know, everybody else is taken anyway.
100%. Now, to finish off, we've got everyone's commenting already on this live feed, saying this is brilliant. Thank you so much. Amazing insights. Thank you for sharing your wise words. Thank you. Inspiring. It's awesome. There's obviously a lot of people out there who are watching this, and you know they're going, maybe I need that program too. Maybe I should do it, but they haven't made a decision yet. They're kind of still wondering. They're probably going through the process that you went through of going, you know, is this the right thing for me? Is it really real? Like, is it actually going to help me? What advice do you have for those kind of people who are, thinking about that? Yeah.
Well, what I asked myself was, how has it been working out to do things your own way? Have you been helping yourself that much, you know, in a degree or to a degree where you're actually getting better? Or do you actually need help to get there? I needed help, and I had no idea how or where or who I should trust. But I would tell people that, well, I've said it several times already. I said it in the article as well. Having somebody see you and understand you and see the light in you that you may have forgotten is just priceless. I don't care if you think it's expensive. I'm sorry, it's priceless. And you don't get it anywhere but in this program, with the people that work in the program and in the people that are helping themselves through the program. It's just priceless help. So do it.
Well said. Because, and it's easy for me to say because I've lived it and seen it and lived it for, 10 plus years. But I know also what it's like on the other side of like not knowing, you're stuck in so much fear and anxiety and worry and depression that you're so stuck in a hole that you don't even, the feelings aren't with you yet of change. And so, when you're on the other side of it, you can see it and you can go, yeah, okay, do it though. Like it's gonna help you, but it's until you make the decision and the commitment. And I'm doing it now, like you did, like you jumped in.
Yeah.
And I still remember the phone call from that day. Like you were not in a good way. You were overwhelmed. You were stressed. You were in a bad way, and you've made some incredible changes, and it's just so good. And you're just such a beautiful person. I just think you're a beautiful person, and whatever you'll create whatever you want. And I'm just I'm looking forward to watching your journey unfold, and just
so am I.
It's just incredible. Have you got any last words of wisdom before we finish up?
Do the work. It is work. Do the work.
Yeah, cool. That's good. That's all we need to say. It's true. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this interview. Like, really, really appreciate it. I'm sure everyone who has tuned in has had a really wonderful experience too. If you've loved it, guys, give it a like, comment, let both Siggy and I'm sure we'll check in and see all the wonderful comments. And thank you so much for on behalf of myself and everyone else, thank you for giving us the time, the energy, and and really the thoughtfulness of writing what you wrote, and then obviously doing this interview. You have you have a natural ability to kind of share and care, and it's something you probably just found within yourself over the past year too.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure for me, and I'm really, really happy to see that people are inspired by what I've written and where I've come. I'm really glad that my journey can help somebody. I really didn't think that a year ago.
It's so good. It's just so good. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. And, we'll stay in touch anyway. Speak to you soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.